I've always been a curious person. I remember growing up, I spent countless time on forums, reading horror stories and browsing posts about paranormal activities copiously. And there's one picture I still remember vividly to this day. It was a wedding photo with the chilling backstory. And for a moment, the picture's unsettling description had earned my absolute credulity. I guess I never questioned the legitimacy of the story. I just buried it in the back of my head. But recently I had a memory echo. I know, some people reminiscing the good old days, me remembering a horrifying wedding picture. The fuck is that? Right? But before we elbow deep in and analyze this picture, let's delve into this topic, the tapestry of Chinese ghost marriage. The Chinese ghost marriage is also known as冥婚or 阴婚, 2 words, same shit. It is a practice where one or both participants in marriage are deceased. Ghost marriage is a unique cultural tradition rooted in the Chinese beliefs about family, ancestor worshipping, and this practice is meant to maintain familial lineage, fulfill social obligation, and ensure that the deceased will have companionship in their afterlife. Just a clarification, the ghost marriage in China is very rare now. Even back in the days, it was considered superstitious, problematic, a corrupt custom, and it was only practiced in some rural areas among the Chinese communities, and it is completely rotted out of the modern society. And a lot of us, including myself, we had to access the information through the internet, media, or movies, because none of us nor our families had a first-hand experience. And this is also one of the toxic cultural practices that needs to be eradicated. A long time ago, there were people with this uneducated belief that being unmarried at the time of death was considered a misfortune, as marriage was seen as a significant rite of passage. When someone is married, they will be seen as they fulfill their duties and responsibilities as a kid to the parent, and being single was stigmatized, let alone dying unmarried. It was considered a sully to the whole family, including the ancestors. It was a generational shame and bad luck. It was a disgrace to the ancestral grave. Marrying off a deceased person helps preserve the family's honor, so that's why a lot of people confide into the ghost marriage to ensure that the deceased will complete their life milestone. Now, we're all familiar with the yin-yang symbol, right? It is an opposite but interconnected self-perpetuating cycle. And there was a belief when an unmarried kid passed away, it breaks the harmony of feng shui. Is it me or I lost my voice? 我怎么越讲越哑了? So, performing a ghost marriage to pair with the deceased one, as known as the yin, with a spouse, it's a yang. So bounding these two together, it will maintain the cosmic balance. Some people believe if the death occurred by accidents, murders, or losing life at a very young age without completing life milestones, the deceased will be restless, lonely, holding grudges. They will linger in this human realm and return as a spirit to haunt the living. And back in the days, ghost marriages are not for the poor. Rich people had to go through an agent, a matchmaker, to get the perfect body. I know, that sounds so fucked up. It is fucked up though. In the past, many people believed that a couple should be well matched in social and economic status for happy marriage. So conducting a ghost marriage could also strengthen ties between two families, even after death. Because here's the thing, money, power, respect are the holy trinity to keep the familial lineage go on and on and on and on and on and on. So first, a family might consult with a feng shui master or a spiritual medium to find a suitable body. You know what? A spouse. Yeah, that's better. To find a suitable spouse for the deceased. And a lot of people believed in this thing called a birth chart. In Chinese, we call them 生辰八字, 4 pairs of characters, including the year, month, day, and hours of one person's birth. And to complicate the situation even further, some families are very adamant about the Chinese zodiac sign. For instance, if their kid's zodiac sign is a rooster, they tend to stay away from a rabbit or a dog because according to the Chinese zodiac sign, a rabbit, in Chinese we also call it Mao, is located on the west, and a rooster, in Chinese we call it You, is located on the east. So the binding of two could bring misfortune to the family. Fascinating. But is it true though? I don't know. I guess it's the same as the astrology sign, because you know how some people, they just have their own stereotype towards certain signs. Oh, I don't like Scorpio. Oh, I don't like Virgo, blah, blah, blah. It's the same shit. Then it's the dowry. In the traditional marriage, a dowry is required from both parties. Back in the days, it was expected that the bride would receive compensations like money, gold, gems, silk, expensive Chinese medicines, and so on, as if right now, I guess the dowry had transitioned into a party has to have their own real estate, preferably, but if not, it is expected for them to pay for the down payment of the mortgage, and the other family might pitch in with the god renovation. So basically, one family has to match with another family's offer. I know it sounds very materialistic, but also very realistic. Because here's the thing, when you get married, you're not just getting married. It's not as easy as getting that certificate. You're starting your own family. You're creating one yourself. I guess the dowry can be seen as a blessing from the parents. Next, we have the ceremony. The ghost marriage ceremony often mirrors a traditional wedding, but with some symbolic adjustments though. For example, the paper effigies, the paper figures representing the groom, the bride, and the dowries are burned during the ceremony to send them to the afterlife. So basically, it's a currency, because there's a believe in the Chinese culture. I think it's funny. It's called 买路钱. So a lot of people believed that doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if you're alive or dead, it doesn't matter where you go, you always need to have money in the back of your pocket just in case. So the paper figures are just the currency for you to live in another realm. The color themes on the bride and the groom are red and white instead of red and gold. And when I said white, I'm not talking about the wedding dresses that people wear nowadays. I was talking about white flower pieces like white chrysanthemum, because they're used to honor the dead according to the Chinese culture. And speaking of flower pieces, this is such an interesting cultural difference. In the Korean and Japanese culture, let's just say hypothetically, if somebody opens up a restaurant or other establishments, or if they're having a graduation ceremony, their friends will send flower wreath to offer congratulations. I'm not talking about those decorative ones or the ornaments. I'm talking about the big ones, because flower wreaths are exclusively for the deceased in China. Under no circumstances that one should ever send flower wreath to others, unless you're sending it to a cheating